Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Isani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I am Isani Caetano.
And I'm Sabrina Daly.
Good morning.
And good morning.
It is Tuesday the 13th of January.
It is.
2026. Before we go any further,
tell me.
Right? Normally we reserve birthday shout-outs to the end of the show.
But someone special.
I'm a proud son, right? So
okay.
I'll say happy birthday to my dad. He knows who he is. Everybody knows who he is.
Everyone knows who he is. Happy birthday, Mr. Caetano.
Happy birthday, Dad, first and foremost. Good morning once again, Sab. Good morning.
Good morning, Isani. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning here in Belize City, and we are so happy to, assist you in opening your eyes and starting your morning right with whatever routine you engage in. I'll tell you, Isani, I left early this morning, as I always would, and I couldn't help but notice that there were quite a few more people on the road this morning. I was wondering if something new is taking place that I don't know about. I do know that schools are back open, so perhaps that's one of the reasons why we're seeing more traffic on the road, but I'll definitely encourage you guys to take caution, especially on the highways.
Here's what's interesting, right? You're coming from a different direction than I am. And coming to work this morning, it was raining overnight, so a lot of potholes and a lot of water was still left after overnight showers, right? But rain has stopped the reggae jam, right?
It certainly does not, Isani, and we have some wonderful conversations to look forward to this morning, starting off with
transforming border management with technology. Then we're going to be discussing exploring healing through Shanti's Kriol Kolcha Terapi, spelt in Kriol too. Wow. Travel with Zoe discovers new destinations. And lastly, stepping into the spotlight, we're going to be discussing the Belikin calendar 2027 auditions.
Yes, and music and much more. And also we have some conversations that I know you guys are itching to talk about right now. We know some of these are local and international topics currently trending. Starting off with media owners warning BTL SpeedNet deal threatens press freedom. That's an open discussion currently taking place. Also, we heard for the very first time in a while from the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Richard Rosado. He joined media counterparts yesterday, and he spoke about the Budna investigation, defending the investigation so far from the police's standpoint. Also, Belize in U.S. modernizes borders with biometric data technology. Sugar industry secures lifeline deal with extension, or lifeline deal extension, that is. And here's a heartwarming one for you guys who might have tuned in last night and is familiar with a very well-known man in Belize City, Jose Zelaya. After tragedy, he is showing his love through his relationship with his son, a father building a legacy of care. Such a beautiful story.
Where do you want to start from?
I think we should begin with what everyone is still very much talking about and perhaps will continue to speak about until this is finally a scene to come to an end. People are discussing the BTL acquisition of SpeedNet. Of course, you would know included in that were cable companies. We spoke about that at length yesterday. Paul and April, they gave several perspectives, which I really appreciated. Paul even provided a parallel to what is currently taking place internationally in the entertainment industry. April provided some sociology context to it. I think that was also wonderful and value there as well. But since that update yesterday, there has been several more things that came out. We know that some cable companies have since removed themselves from this deal that was set to take place. We also know that there was a press conference held yesterday where some of our media colleagues would have come forward and spoken about how this deal, or the potential of this deal, could threaten freedom of press as well, or what they considered a threat to freedom of press as well. There's a lot still going on, and of course we still want to know if this deal will come to fruition. But that's the update so far. Still a lot of views on the matter. Still people asking if monopoly of the telecoms services is actually something that would be beneficial to the country at this time. And of course we have to air out all sides.
I think for me, the most basic question here, and perhaps it's an afterthought now that the two cable providers have withdrawn from the negotiating table. So you have Centaur Communications, then you have Central Cable and Internet, right?
Yeah.
So the first question that to me stands out is, why was there an offer to bundle cable along with Smart SpeedNet in this particular deal, when where you look at the landscape, not too many people are bothered with cable anymore.
Yeah, it's
that's
considered
a relic
obsolete,
of
yeah.
the past, right? And when you look at, so the point was made yesterday, and I do agree with what was said, that when you look at the past acquisitions of these respective cable companies and their valuations against what they were offering to sell for this time around, their value went up, right? Now, granted, it's not only cable that forms the sum of these individual companies. They're also
Yeah.
offering internet and other related services. But when you look at what some of these cable companies were valued a few years ago to what they were proposing to BTL as part of the buyout, you could see the appreciation in value. But the irony of it is, well, cable is still very much a part of the services that they offer, but cable is a dying thing. When was the last time? I'll use myself as an example. So, growing up, cable was very new to us. I was like a novelty back then, right? And the ability to have so many different channels to choose from.
Yeah.
You want to watch HBO, Cinemax, you name it. That was the thing. Then internet came on. Then social media came later. And so it removed the power of decision from the cable provider to us being able to curate, in a manner of speaking, our own content. I decide what I want to watch, right? And so because of that, it sort of rendered cable obsolete. Now, if you're telling me that, okay, with all of that in mind, you're still offering this as a part of this buyout package, then the question becomes, is there really value in the cable aspect of the operation?
Right.
Right? Because, like I said, most people don't watch cable like that anymore. As a matter of fact, since I'm still using myself as an example, when my cable line was cut a few years ago, I thought I would have missed it because it was such a huge part of my, growing up and my existence in Belize. But then I realized
Everything's
I
online.
didn't even look back. And it didn't matter.
But Asani, I think that perspective or that viewpoint is what a lot of us have.
Yeah.
That's what we are seeing online. We're hearing from people that we speak to. And those are the questions that were presented when we attended the BTL press conference last Friday. That aside, though, now seeing the update with 2 of the 3 cable companies removing themselves from this deal that was set to take place, the big question is, why? Why now? You were interested before. Of course, they're citing reputational damage. And to
It's
myself,
media
that
pressure,
was the,
political pressure, and reputational.
that was the conversation we were having in the office yesterday, right? I found myself walking around and trying to like pick the brain of people around me, asking their views on it. You would have walked away with millions of dollars had this deal gone through because of the noise from the media, from the independent senators, the community senators, from the, of course, general public, just concerns all around with this.
So you're missing one of the most important elements, though, the unions.
The unions. Is that really what stopped them from removing themselves from this deal?
Perhaps, right? I wouldn't be surprised that they sat down and reconsidered the whole thing. But in all of this, Belizean, and perhaps it's a widely held sentiment, Belizean people feel like, yo, they try to pull a fast one because everything was done quietly. And so there's also this concern that because the SSB is invested in BTL, which they're saying, okay, our contributions to SSB needs to be properly accounted for. As Belizeans, we need to know if we money to go, basically, right? And so one of the concerns that was being raised was, well, okay, so how did we not know about this? How did this not come to us as the people of Belize, right? And so Chairman Lizarraga gave a very interesting response, right? About this being a private company and they don't have to necessarily consult and what have you. And I don't know how well that went over with Belize. I really don't know, because the idea of the nationalization was we as Belizeans took back this company, right? Yes, it's the property of the government and people of Belize and it's run privately. But when you say you don't really have to consult with we about something where we feel belong to we, something is kind of off there, right?
So we know that to be one of the concerns. And we also know that another conversation that people are having is the big question around the sense of actually having a telecoms monopoly. A lot of people...
a sticking point, Sam.
Yeah, and I really want to use the advantage of having someone who has been in this industry for a long time before me, because it's not the first time that BTL assumed full control of the telecoms industry here in Belize. It began on its own, and I might have been too young to remember it that time.
I grew up knowing BTA before there was a BTL.
Well, there we go.
Before there was an Intelco, before there was a Smart, right?
So I'm glad that we have someone here who has been around quite a while before, because for me, just like many other persons who had those concerns around the monopoly, the question around whether it would trump innovation, you would become complacent, prices would rise, all of those general concerns that people would have. I even went about going down a rabbit hole, learning about when AT&T was a monopoly back in, so many decades ago in the United States, and what prompted that issue prompting, all of these other telecoms companies coming now in the United States. But what would have been the biggest issue of BTA at the time that required, new businesses coming on the scene?
Well, so it transitioned from Belize Telecommunications Authority, if I'm not mistaken, BTA, to Belize
BTL.
Telecommunications Limited, right? And all the other iterations of it. But it existed as a monopoly back then. That was the only provider, right? And then that transition eventually led to Intelco and then Smart as we know it, right? But there's a point that was also being made that, look, so we're coming from a monopoly, we opened it up, now we're going back to a monopoly.
So is it more just about taking a step back?
But it's a two-sided argument, as with every other debate about an issue, right? You look at the market size and you look at what BTL has and what SpeedNet has. And the argument being had there is that the market on a whole is just too small at this point, so neither of them can really grow any further, right? So the idea of consolidation then reduces duplication, as they say. They could provide better quality services with the infrastructure that exists as we know it. and so on. That's on one side, right? The other side, people are saying, well, look, competition healthy.
Yeah.
Because I have a smart number, I have a BTL number, and when there's double up, when they're going at it, I as the consumer benefits. That's how that's how people are also looking at it, right? So now without that, then they're saying, okay, well, the Public Utilities Commission would have to regulate prices and all of these things, just like with just like with BTL, just like with BEL and BWS.
Other monopoly utility companies as well.
Yeah, because, well, in the case of Belize Water Services, there's no other water provider like that, right? And, well, with Belize
BEL.
Electricity Limited, you have other smaller companies that provide electricity to the grid, but BEL is a sole distributor, right?
So we know, though, that there are checks and balances in place.
And then the PUC regulates.
Yes.
Yeah, so the PUC is the regulator that determines certain things within the industry.
And I'm glad that you brought up the PUC, because that's where I was going to take the conversation next. The idea of having a monopoly, people are questioning whether there would be enough checks and balances and an institution in place or an organization in place to hold these companies accountable so that they do not abuse their powers. And so when you think of BWS or BEL, you think of the fact that, you know, for example, now we are expecting rates to increase. However, that has not been the case for a very long time. I'm certain that, you know, after hearing from BEL, the fact that they have been clamoring for an increase for a very long time, and now this is finally a point where we're able to see that being approved through PUC. Could we then say that it's, you know, we can go in with a little bit of trust? Because I think ultimately that's what the conversation is about. It's about trust. Do the people trust that a monopoly will be successful this time around? Do the people trust what the government is saying, that this is a sound deal to acquire SpeedNet? We heard directly from Lord Michael Ashcroft his contributions in regarding to SpeedNet and the trust and the fact that, you know, it's the trust benefiting, which is a charitable organization. Does the people trust this deal and this process in its entirety? And so I go now to PUC, the role that PUC plays in all of this. I consider like the check and balance to ensure that no one abuses their power. Looking at different examples of where they would have been in place to ensure that balance is kept, I think it's fair to say that we can trust this process. At least that's coming from me.
Well, I take your point, but again, I reiterate, that's the purpose of the regulator. Just like how the central bank is the regulator of the financial sector in this country, they exist as the ones who set the pace and who put things back in line once these companies or those that fall within its ambit fall out of line, so to speak.
But you can also say, though, I know I can hear persons tuning in right now saying to their screens, but Sabrina, it's the PM that appoints the members on the PUC.
Well, that's a no-brainer, and that's part of the argument here, right? You have people who sit in these offices who are appointed by the Prime Minister. So if you look at the composition of the Public Utilities Commission, if you look at the composition of the BTL board, those are people who are put there by the political directorate, right? So all of these are just, you know, but it's an interesting time though. Again, you alluded to the conversation that Paul had yesterday.
Yeah.
With the parallels being drawn with what's taking place in the United States, right? When you look at Paramount, Skydance, and all of these other major, if you look at the recent Netflix acquisition of Warner Brothers, well, again, I grew up, all the movie mark Warner Brothers, right?
You know it's good when you say that.
But we're living in changing times, right? And mergers and consolidations aren't a new or a foreign thing. It happens every day, right? Big companies swallow up small companies, and small companies pop up out of nowhere and become giants, and then they take over the competition. These things, in a manner of speaking, are par for the course.
Yeah. Finally, I just want to spend a really quick moment to highlight what could be possible concerns coming from the media standpoint, where freedom of press is concerned. Do we believe that that is something that we should genuinely have concern over at this time?
That's an interesting question. I don't know, and I'll go on the record from my perspective. I don't know that despite what took place with Great Belize Television under the Barrow administration when we were sanctioned, that we've ever been, and that wasn't a telecommunications issue. That was the government of the day taking a position against this company, right? But I don't know that we have been sanctioned before where telecommunications are concerned, where people in an office say, okay, maybe they're saying too much or maybe they're saying the wrong thing, let's cut the switch on them. I don't know that we here have ever experienced that. So I cannot say that Channel 5 has been there before. Again, separate and apart from what took place with us under the Barrow administration when we were sanctioned by them.
Yeah.
Right? But I take the point of the other media houses who perhaps have had those kinds of experiences, but I don't know that, that has been the case here necessarily.
All right. Well, we do have to wrap up this conversation, and time really flew by so quickly, too. And so thank you for sharing your thoughts in the comments section. If you have anything you'd like to share further, you can also do that. At this point, we do have to move into our weather update and get that official look from the... We will get to that in just a moment. Until then, I think it's safe to jump into another topic.
Conversation. I want to go to the feel-good conversation for me, right? So yesterday our colleague Paul did the story with Jose and Marco Zelaya, and well, I don't really know the man by government, right? I'm about the three boys, right? So we grew up in the same neighborhood together, right? And we're fairly familiar with each other and so on. But for me, what is warm in all of this, despite the tragedy that befell Jose Zelaya with his kids, is the fact that there is this discovery of a connection between him and his son, right? And I always say, right, there is no love like the love of a father, right? But that manifests itself in so many different ways. In this case, it took a near tragic situation for this bond to be strengthened between father and son. And what's funny in all of this for me is that we now know Tribos as a bed sore specialist, right? We put that name on him. But I'm certain before this whole life-changing event, he probably never know nothing about taking care of bedridden people and ensuring that, that they don't, how do I say, fall to the discomforts of being bedridden, right? I put it in a polite way, right? But but when you listen to the son talking and owing all of this to his father, right? Boss, a lot of people out here, men particularly, walk away from their homes. They walk away from their situation with their children, right? This is one of them that shows, look, that not every man walk and say, well, to hell with it. You have a situation where they've grown spiritually with each other, and the part of this all where Tribos is saying, look, we pray together, we eat together, we laugh together. What better joy than that? Notwithstanding the situation, right?
I absolutely agree with you. I think what was, what had me kind of trying to calm my goosebumps was seeing the transition from Marco. We were able to showcase what his journey looked like when his father would have started that therapy with him. And then, of course, seeing how he looks now, so healthy, so vibrant. He's able to sit up in his bed where he did not have that ability to do that before when his father would have started this healing process. But it's such an inspiring story to see how his father, Jose Zelaya, because I know him, I was introduced to him when he started this journey as the bed sore specialist through the platform Ladyville Highlights on Facebook. And to see how many people were so inspired from the onset when he started this, how many lives I imagine he has changed because of his son's adversity at that time. And to see now how they're growing together, having such a tight bond, it's so beautiful to witness, especially when you see men in that situation, when you see men acknowledging love for each other. It's something that I can't get enough of. And so I really applaud Mr. Zelaya. I applaud the people who have been supporting them along this journey. They also acknowledge that. They mentioned that they don't need much, Isani, and that really goes to show, I think, through this story that you don't need much. You don't need a lot of, material things to have a beautiful relationship with your family. You just need someone that is willing to be there with you when it's hard, go through that journey with you, and celebrate the wins in the end.
Exactly.
Beautiful. And so now we wrap up our 5 things we think you should know, or some of the things we think you should know, and we move into our weather update, brought to you by the folks from the National Meteorological Service. Alrighty, good morning again, and here is our eye on the weather from the National Meteorological Service. Today's weather calls for sunny with some cloudy spells and cloudy at times tonight. Showers will be isolated with a few more possible over some northern and inland areas this afternoon and offshore tonight. In terms of temperatures, coastal areas will be experiencing highs of 81 degrees Fahrenheit, then dropping to lows of 71. Inland, very much similar, highs of 84, but dropping to a low of 67, so they get a little bit more cooler temperatures. And then in the hills, very much cooler as well, 72 degrees Fahrenheit for highs, then dropping to lows of 61. I feel that chill there, of course. But in terms of extended temperatures, extended forecast, well, we are going to our marine conditions. The sea state will be moderate with winds blowing from the north to northeast at 5 to 15 knots. The tides, high tide will take place at 7:22 a.m. and then a low tide at 11:37 a.m. However, another high tide will take place at 5:52 p.m. and then another low tide at 1:57 a.m. And our extended forecast for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. For inland and coastal areas on Wednesday, you can expect highs of 80 and 82 degrees Fahrenheit, then dropping to lows of 71 and 67. For Thursday, that's our holiday coming up, Isani. Highs for inland and coastal areas, you can expect very similar temperatures, 80 and 82 for inland and coastal areas. However, they will be dropping to lows in the 60s, 69 and 66. On Friday and Saturday, inland and coastal areas will be seeing highs of 77 and 78, then dropping to lows of 67 and 60. And then on Saturday, highs of 80 and 82, then dropping to lows of 72 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit for inland and coastal areas. The sun rose this morning at 6:25 a.m. and is set to set at 5:37 p.m. The moon set will take place at 1:23 p.m. and will rise at 2:59 a.m. And that does it for our Eye on the Weather, brought to you by the folks from the National Meteorological Service. Isani, back to you.
Great job, Sab. Guys, when we return, it's all about transforming border management with technology. Stick around.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
This year reminded us that our work is so much more than communication. It's connection. Every time we supported a school, a youth program, or a community event, we felt the heartbeat of Belize. We met students who just needed someone to believe in them, and families grateful for a supportive hand. We saw communities welcome SMART not just as a brand, but a trusted friend. For us, impact is created through service, presence, and purpose. As we move into a new year, we remain committed to empowering our communities and sharing stories that reflect how SMART strengthens the connections that matter most.
That commitment to people drives how we build our products. We focused on delivering real value and flexibility. We upgraded our postpaid plans to include social media data, keeping you connected to your favorite platforms without the extra cost. For the prepay family, we enhanced prepaid plans to ensure you get more data and benefits from every single recharge. Flex bundles now better match real-time budgets, improving affordability. We introduced affordable Mexico data bundles to keep you connected while traveling. We are listening, adapting, and ensuring you get high-value connectivity you deserve.
Great plans need a great network. SMART strengthened its promise of bringing people together by investing heavily in expansion. We added new towers in key areas, bringing a stronger signal and improved service to more communities. Customers along the coastal road in Blancano, Mountain Pine Ridge, and Cristo Rey now enjoy more consistent coverage, making SMART a reliable companion for every journey. SMART launched its fiber network in Sartineja, bringing reliable high-speed connectivity for today's digital needs.
At SMART, we strive to reflect the energy of Belize in everything we do. From celebrating 20 years of excellent service to exciting collaborations, we've shared unforgettable times. We've delighted you with our biggest giveaways and deals ever. Ads you could laugh and connect to, and launched a revamped website to make your digital experience faster and more engaging.
As we look forward to the new year, we remain committed to what matters to you most. The communities we serve, the connections we build, and the precious moments we all share. All these remind us of our true identity and steadfast purpose, bringing people together.
And welcome back. Joining us for our first conversation this morning, we have in studio with us Lawrence Thompson. He is the Director of Border Management and Immigration Services. He's joined by Mr. Rodolfo Ball, the IT Manager for the Ministry of Immigration, Governance and Labor. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
We're here to talk about an interesting development that we learned of yesterday, the biometric data sharing program, correct?
Yes.
And what this means for border management and the movement of people in and out of Belize. Let's start there. For the average person who may not have been following, what is BDSP and how is this beneficial to Belize?
Yeah. All right, so let me first start off with giving a little context as to what border management is and what our guys do at our ports of entry. To give numbers, we have for 2025 like 1.5 million travelers through our ports nationally, and so we have to manage that. And so technology is the best tool for us to manage migration. And during our routine process of travelers coming through our ports, there are different screening processes that occur by the immigration officer. One of them is a primary screening where they look at passports and look at different identifiers to identify the legitimacy of the travel to allow entry. Our role is to protect our borders from any persons or entity that would want to enter our country to do bad things. And so the immigration officer has a very tough job at our ports of entry to identify and filter out all those individuals within that group of travelers
Kind
coming
of short
in
space of time too.
in a very short piece of time.
Yeah.
So correct, we have to ensure that we have travel facilitation as well, so we don't disrupt individuals from traveling. And so we do primary screening, and then we also do secondary screening. And so the secondary screening is where there are risk indicators that have been identified by travelers, and then those travelers are then set off for secondary screening to identify more in-depth purpose of travel. So the BDSP is a platform that will accelerate that secondary inspection and verification process. It will verify against travel documents that might be fraudulent, history or antecedents of travelers, if there are any history of sex offenders or terrorist activities or any transnational criminal background of individuals, which is one of our key role at our ports of entry, to identify these individuals, to protect our borders, to contribute to the national security agenda of Belize, along with our other national partners. So BDSP is technology that will now provide the immigration department with the added capability to run these travelers through a system and give us feedback as to the history of these travelers, so we can make a more informed and security-based as well as intelligence-led investigation decision on their entry.
This is a partnership with the United States government, with the U.S. Embassy. There was the launch of the BDSP and the equipment yesterday. Talk to us about that partnership and what it means to be able to share biometric data between Belize and the United States.
Yes. So we cannot manage our borders by ourselves. Nationally, with all our highly skilled domestic law enforcement, there's also a need for partner within our region and internationally in order for us to extend our reach beyond our borders of Belize, so we can intercept travelers or nefarious actors before they even arrive at our country. And so partnering with the US with this, and they were providing this capability, strengthens that partnership and also strengthens our border control and border security apparatus. The BDSP will not scan Belizeans.
Yes, I
All
heard
right?
that last night.
So it's for international travelers who come through our ports of entry, and there are some risk indicators that are identified by our officers. And these individuals will then be secondary and processed through the BDSP. BDSP is also not linked to our MIDA system. It's an independent system that houses that data. And so that data is then shared once an individual is, the biometrics are entered, that is shared with the US, and that is also kept for us for statistics, so we can perform our risk assessment, our data analytics, to identify patterns and trends of travelers not only coming to Belize, but also travelers who have been identified as high risk that travel within the region. So it also provides for Belize immigration and Belize national security apparatus to have a more coordinated regional security approach in identifying individuals that might have nefarious intent.
I'm always fascinated, and you alluded to it earlier, Lawrence, about the pace that is happening to ensure that there's not disruption of traveling, persons getting to their flights, but there's still these intense checks that are taken or that are done to ensure that persons aren't entering the country illegally using false documents, aren't doing things wrong on their trips as well. I'm always curious about what that check or what are the signals or the signs that you look for, especially now that we have this piece of technology that would lead you to say, okay, Isani, an international traveler, we need to pass him through this piece of technology now. He has some red flags. What are those red flags that you look for?
Well, there are several of them. We look at the book, passport.
Okay.
Right? So you need to have a legitimate travel document to enter Belize and any other country. And so any indication on these travel documents of being fraudulent, meaning they have been manipulated in some way or another by the immigration officer, that is a red flag.
Okay.
So the story of the individual coming in, what's their story? What's the purpose of your visit? So the question of purpose of visit is not just an inquisitive immigration officer wanting to know the business
Not
of the
just
traveler.
them being friendly.
Right? It's about seeking information from the traveler to get a feel and an understanding of your purpose. And your purpose has to match with several other indicators. One of them being the book, the travel, the passport. And so those are a few which clearly we don't want to disclose the entire indicator list of what we are looking for in travelers. There's also an interview process that happens. And so the answers to certain questions that the immigration officers ask, and immigrations have been trained. And with this BDSP, there'll be additional training to equip our officers to enhance their interviewing capabilities, their capabilities to be able to decipher between legitimate travelers and those who are here for other purpose, for human trafficking or human smuggling or sex offenders, or these individuals that we really don't want in our country.
Let's get Mr. Bolin on the conversation at this point. From an IT perspective, how does this work from your point of view?
Well, what you have to understand is this is not our first international watch list that we connect to. We've been connecting to Interpol for many years, and that's an international watch list.
Yeah.
So this is now more on a person watch list, basically. Because what we're doing right now is taking your biometrics and searching you based on your face, iris, or fingerprints. So regardless of the name that you had registered before, now we can identify you. Because that's the limitations what we have experienced of late, that we search by individuals' names, but then we don't know, have you changed your name?
Yeah.
Who are you now? So now this PDSP, this allows us to do that now, to identify you with multiple names, multiple changes of that you've done over the years. So this is one of the beautiful things about this system now.
So in essence, you could go through as many name changes as you want, right?
Yes.
The fingerprints, the iris, and some other biometric information never changes, right?
Never changes. And that's where PDSP has its power.
Yeah.
We are looking at the biometrics of the individual now. And like I said, we do Interpol, and that's names of persons and documents. But now we're looking at what have you done previously based on your biometrics.
Yeah.
So in terms of technology, it enhances us in terms of be able to put one name or one person to many names. And also we have to realize that we are not doing Belizeans on it, but Belizeans are already accustomed to biometrics, because when you apply for passport, that's what we are doing. We're taking your biometrics for the same reason. In case you want to apply for next passport with a different name, we can capture that as well. So it's just enhancing our infrastructure in the back end, basically.
Well, this is always exciting, I think, because sometimes I feel like we play catch up a little bit with what's taking place internationally. But still, you know, there's still that question that people would generally have where data collection is concerned. How do you assure the public that their biometric data is secured?
Well, for the same reason, all these systems are not public. These are all private networks, and we try to keep that as much as possible. Right now we are on a 2 weeks training with the US counterparts, and we are going through this rigorous training on keeping the system safe, keeping it separate from our MIDA system. And even our MIDA system is not exposed to the internet neither. So we try to keep all of those as private as possible. Okay, so that's one of the big things that we do take pride on, user security and user information security. And we do it with the same thing with our passport as well. Everything is private, nothing is on the internet, nothing is exposed, basically.
So where can we expect this new update in terms of entry points in the country?
Well, we are looking at all the ports of entry at this time.
Yeah, the major ports, western border, northern border, PGIA. We have at the main office in Belmopan. We have one in Belize City as well.
Punta Gorda.
And in Punta Gorda.
Has there been an instance where biometric data has been used to capture perhaps a fugitive or, as you've mentioned, some nefarious character in Belize or what have you?
Well,
Can you think of any?
We've always been working, even without BDSP, we've been doing secondary screening and using a longer route for secondary verification with our partners. And so we have had instances, we've identified as early as October an individual arriving at our PGIE with a fraudulent passport, an imposter passport, using the passport to try to make entry. And he was intercepted based on the officer's interview and their key sense of awareness of the individual nationality and his route of travel. And so we have been identifying individuals in the past. What this BDSP will do now is it will enhance that and make it more quicker for us to do our verification. And we have the tool now in our offices, and so the verification process will be a lot more fluid and a lot more effective and efficient in getting the results.
What is interesting for me in all of this is the fact that you guys, in essence, have to be at least a step or two ahead of the criminals, because when you think of forgery, because when people enter or attempt to enter with a false passport, it's because whoever forged that passport would have probably gone to great lengths to get it to as spot on as it is to the naked eye or what have you, right? So you guys need to be at least a step or two ahead to be able to intercept that. What has that been like in terms of being able to keep up with this kind of activity?
Yeah, border enforcement should not be reactionary. We should always try to be proactive. I tell my team that when we gather for our meetings and all that, the bad guys are also gathering in meetings. They're also figuring a way as to how to circumvent border security. And so our role is to now be proactive. BDSP is one of those proactive activities. And also partnering with agencies, enhancing collaboration, coordination, and communication with our national partners, as well as our regional and international. Mr. Ball mentioned Interpol. And so we have that capability within our MIDA system to receive alerts from Interpol. And so we use this. It's not an easy task, and it's a daily occurrence of travelers coming through, and the officers need to be alert. They need to be recognized that we have among those legitimate travelers, and the majority of travelers are legitimate. There's this small bunch who wants to infiltrate into our border controls and our border security for them to do bad things. And these are the people that we need to find.
Based on a question that I believe Isani had asked earlier, I want to ask if there's any type of database that you guys would have collected in terms of individuals who would have tried to enter the country illegally using false documents or any type of forgery. Do we have any data on that, what that looked like last year?
Yes, actually we had our conference or meeting last week, where all our port commanders and senior management got together and we discussed our challenges, we discussed our accomplishments for 2025, we looked at our data, and we are finishing up that data collation, and then from there we use that to do analysis to identify patterns and trends of what happened last year, the year before. Actually in 2023, the data for national travel was, I think, 1.6. 2024 was 1.7, and 2025 was 1.9 million travelers coming through our ports. So we see the trajectory of increased travel, and so that then signals that border controls also need to be similarly increasing in equipment, in training, in situational awareness. And so we take those data to analyze our environment and see how we can better posture ourselves.
What were some of the big challenges coming out of last year where border security is concerned?
Well, one of the big challenges is technology, you know, the limited access to technology. And so we find that we have our MIDA system, and there is a need for enhancement of that Midas system, which is what we are already doing.
Yeah.
Mr. Ball and his team, and maybe you can touch on the increase.
Besides of this PDSP, the next one is how do we incorporate our biometrics on our main line? But the first thing we have to do is how do we improve what we have already? So starting last year, December, we started upgrading all of our systems at the borders, computers. Then the next step will be now biometrics. We should be completing the upgrade of servers by next month, if anything, which then we will start the plan now. How do we do biometrics there? So it's constant improvement, constant development. We have had our Midas since 2013, and we have had quite of experience now how to deal with the influx of travelers. So we have data, as I mentioned. Now the thing that we have left to do is now analyze it and present it. Because that's the next thing that we know that we lack, presentation of this data to the public. And this is where we are working on. Hopefully this year we can start to publish data. We have started a small statistician unit within immigration. So they are responsible to collect, analyze it, and present it. Okay, so hopefully we will have a next conversation on that as well.
Certainly.
All right. Well, gentlemen, as we wind down this conversation, I know this is great news for us here in Belize to see that we're able to expand on our technology, especially where border protection is concerned. As we wrap up, do you have any further updates that we can expect coming out of the work that you guys are doing?
Well, in tandem with the Midas and the BDSP, there are capacity building that we're providing to our offices. It's not just putting the equipment out there. We appreciate that equipment are good, but also building that capacity and continuity to ensure that we have continuous training in border security, border control, risk management, and have our officers equipped for whatever it is come to our borders. And then we hold our officers accountable as well to ensure that they apply what is learned and use the technology in a manner that upholds and upholds the integrity of the system. And so that is also what we're doing.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us, sharing this update with us and with you guys by extension. We really appreciate it, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, if you have a thirst for traveling, we are going to be joined by Zoe. She is a very popular backpacker, and she is currently here in Belize, and she's going to be talking about her experience discovering new destinations.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Aiwa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Aiwa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Aiwa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Aiwa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Aiwa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
I crossed borders in Central America, searching for the stories behind the places we think we know. I'm Sabrina Daly, traveling as a Belizean, curious about the culture, the people, and the experiences that make each destination stand out. From the spirited landscapes of Honduras to the evolving heartbeat of El Salvador.
Go pupusas!
This journey explores what it really feels like to travel our region. This is Across Borders.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer at home smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full-Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Kaliko Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Kaliko Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Kaliko Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
All right, on the one fun day on, the window open and the light may turn off. You look like you listen to me, Jamie.
Not only that, I even get a new coffee mug where keep my coffee hot all day.
I'm impressed. You don't look like you're so hard here.
Better than that, BL can change my meter to one of their new smart meter. They call it the AMI.
Oh, I hear about it on TV for BL ad, you know.
Yes, man. It don't reach the man to change it right now. Let's go check it out.
Hey guys, I'm almost done here.
So that when you reach my area,
we're upgrading meters across Belize. House by house, business by business. Always look out for BL logo, uniforms, and IDs. BL will make you know when we're in the area. The EMI meter rollout is a part of BL strategy to modernize our energy services.
You don't need to come in at my house, right?
Come in at your house, boss, only if you got something good for you.
BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
When working with sheetrock, you need screws that give you quick penetration for a speedy, stable installation. Best Screws, fast frame and fast finish drywall screws are specifically designed for you. Engineered by Best Manufacturing, Best Screws makes every job faster and easier. These screws offer reliable performance with a superior hold. You also save money due to Best Screws affordability. They are cheaper than the leading brands. Get the job done quickly without compromising on strength. For all your drywall installations, get Best Screws Fast Frame and Fast Finish. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. This is our second conversation, and as I mentioned before the break, this is for the ones who thirst for travel. We are joined this morning by Zoe Reeves. She's a solo traveler, content creator, influencer, and she's currently here in beautiful Belize, exploring different places and documenting her experience. Zoe, it's such a pleasure having you here with us, and welcome. Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Thank you. This is my first time on Belize TV, I think.
Really? Well, we are completely flattered to have you here with us. I'm so curious about your journey, Zoe. I've seen a couple of your clips online, a couple of your TikToks. Of course, I know that you've been able to collaborate with some other Belizean content creators as well. But before we get to all of that, I want to know how you got here, not here in Belize, but in this journey of making your life all about traveling and really finding ways to do it without paying much, really, because you speak about budget-friendly traveling as well.
Yeah.
Talk about where this all started.
It's probably too long for this show, to be honest, but so I'm 32 now. When I was about 19, I was at university, and yeah, it was okay, but I just really wanted to travel. I mean, my parents had taken me on holiday sometimes as a child. I always found it intriguing, but by the time I was 19, I was really into like dancehall music and certain elements of Caribbean culture that there was in London, because that's where I was living for university. Yeah. So when I saved my first money from like a summer job, I bought a ticket to Jamaica. So that was when I was 20, and I didn't really have much money remaining for like a hotel or things like that. So that's when I started to research like how can you actually travel on a budget, how can you maybe stay with a local person or things like that. So on that first trip, which was in 2013, I slept on a local person's couch using a platform called couch surfing, where local people like invite strangers or foreigners to sleep on their couch for, you know, cultural immersion and stuff like that. So yeah, I slept like up in the bush on this lady's couch in Jamaica for 2 weeks, and it was just so much fun, and everybody's expectations were really wrong. Like, you know, people in England had said, oh, you're gonna get like human trafficked and things like this, but of course I didn't get human trafficked, and I just had a good time. So then after that, I knew I wanted to experience the world, and especially the Caribbean, in that way more. But then I had to work, so throughout my 20s I was like working, traveling when I could, and then 3.5 years ago, I quit my jobs after, you know, I'd been working for a long time by then, so I'd saved a lot of money. I'm quite good at saving. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna travel as long as I can and just see how long I can keep going for, and I'm just gonna document it. So yeah, I'm still here now. Obviously now I make money from TikTok and YouTube and stuff, but I don't make that much, so that's why I still, you know, stay in hostels and stuff like that. But it's cool that I can at least make something from, you know, just sharing my life. And
so since you set off in 2013 and you've taken this on pretty much full time, how many countries have you been able to visit?
Well, I've only been doing it full time for 3.5 years, so that's since 2022. But in my life, I think I've been to 52 countries. Wow. But keep in mind, some of them I was a child, because my parents did take us on holiday sometimes. But yeah, so I mean, I come to the Caribbean a lot, so I would say a lot of those times it's been in the Caribbean.
So when you go to a new country, are there certain expectations in terms of cultural interactions, in terms of what you're looking forward to seeing and hearing, or you just go in like with a sort of a blank slate?
Yeah, there's not really expectations, but personally what I'm fascinated by is just literally learning like what is people's life like in this country. So I don't really mind if I get to go like zip lining or all these things, because respectfully you can do that anywhere. But what I can't do anywhere is learn like this language that only exists in this place, or like see this crazy thing that happens in the market that only happens here, or go on this unique form of transport that only happens here. Do you know what I mean? So literally, like, I just love to see, it might sound weird, but like I just love to like take the bus and see how that works. Like, what music do they play on the bus? Like, how much does it cost? Like, what do people do on there? Do they sit in silence? Do they chat to the person next to them? Like, how do you stop the bus? Do you have to hit the roof? Do you have to shout? Like, it's different everywhere, right? And like,
you essentially just want to immerse yourself.
Yeah, like, I just want to live the life there. Do you know what I mean? So however that can happen.
Is it your first travel to Belize?
It's actually my third. So I came in 2020 or 2019, something like that, just for a week. Back then I was working a normal job in the UK.
Yeah.
And then I came in November for the 19th of November and stuff. Nice. And then I came back now.
So what is it about Belize that has you back here for the third time?
Well, I think it's really nice that it feels a bit more, not in a bad way, but a bit more like old-fashioned. You know how there's not these huge billboards everywhere and this huge KFC everywhere. It kind of feels like you get to maybe live life a bit like how maybe it might have been for people before I was alive in certain countries. I don't know if I'm going to get cancelled, but you know what I mean? Like, I like how it just feels like life is a bit more
simple.
You know, you see a lot of like farming, and you see a lot of like people who are just selling food from in front of their house, or, you know, I just like that vibe, like family-owned things and community things. And even for the things like the 19th of November, right? That's a huge, well, for Belize, a huge annual celebration. But even things like that, they're not like ruined by over-tourism. Like when I went there on the 19th, there weren't too many people. I could get in the middle of the crowd. I still felt safe. Whereas, for example, when I went to Mexico for Day of the Dead, there are so many tourists there now that they have to put these barriers on the street. You can hardly see the parade. But I feel like here I can actually be like in everything. Do you get what I mean? Like in the middle of everything, because it's not too busy. I don't know, I like that.
One of the things that really brought me to your content, aside from seeing you, really interact with other Belizean content creators, Zoe, was the fact that you kind of presented or represented that curiosity that I might have had when I was younger as well, and I wanted to travel and experience the world, but couldn't exactly convince my other friends or family members to do it with me. And so solo traveling is such a unique experience. But I imagine you get a lot of messages or maybe comments from people asking questions about how do you do it, but how can you do solo traveling, especially as a woman? There are a lot of times females or women, they have a lot of concerns about going out and experiencing the world on their own.
Well, I think you can always find trusted people. I mean, for example, if I land in a country and I maybe have to take like an Uber or a taxi or something, let's say, I mean, if I chat to the driver and I feel like, his driving is making sense, his words are making sense, his vibe is making sense, then I might just say, oh, by the way, like, could I possibly take your number? And then maybe if I get stuck, like, could I call you? And so, yeah, sure. And then I will. Like, if I get stuck, then I say, oh, we'll call him. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like you can kind of go off people's vibes. And yeah, you might be wrong sometimes, but I feel like I've been going off people's vibes since I first went to Jamaica by myself in 2013. So it's something I'm kind of good at. Do you get what I mean? So I just try to keep my eyes open for like anyone who maybe I could just make a connection with in a new country. If I'm staying in a hostel, well, I've made friends with like the receptionist or whatever. There are people, most people don't want people to come to their country and have a bad time. So most of the time, if you just like have an open mind or heart or whatever to people and you're not like suspicious of everyone, then they are more likely to welcome you in exchange. Like, I don't know, I think it's about energy. If you walk around like holding your things like this, well, of course no one's going to invite you into their home or give you a ride.
Some might call it intuition, some might call it street smart, some might call it, well, the Bible would call it discernment.
Well, funnily enough, the people in my comments think, they're like, she has no street smart. I'm like, okay, I'd like to see you survive all these things. Like,
my question for you, Zoe, is how do you build relationships if you're moving so much?
Yeah, it can be really exhausting actually, and funnily enough, I feel like it's so often that towards the end of your trip or towards the end of your stay in this city or this town is when you end up meeting like the people that you really want to hang out with more, and it's actually quite sad. But the world is kind of small, and you never know when you might be back, or you never know when like that person might be in the country that you're in. Like the amount of times I've actually had these unexpected link-ups with somebody that I thought I might never see again. But it does suck. I mean, there are definitely a lot of things about my lifestyle that's really not ideal, and I don't want to live this way forever, and definitely the relationships is one of them, whether that's family or romantic or friends or whatever.
So, what did your parents say when you decided that you're going to embark on this journey and you're going to leave the UK and just see the world? What was their reaction?
They didn't really say too much, to be honest, because throughout my 20s when I was working, I would always travel in my free time when I could anyway, so they already knew it's like such a priority of mine. And to be honest, my parents are very, like, I appreciate about my parents that, they don't really try to force me into anything. They just kind of support whatever I do to varying extents. But in the beginning, my dad, I think he thought it was like a bit of a phase. Like he used to say, oh, when do you think you're going to come back? But then when he realized I'm really trying to make this my career and stuff like that, now he even downloaded TikTok to watch my videos. He's like 83 or 84, I can't remember, and he literally has TikTok to watch my stuff. So yeah, that's nice.
Well, a part of immersion in culture is also language. And so I imagine you've gotten some time to become accustomed with Kriol, and I even heard through the grapevine that she might know a little bit of Garifuna as well. And so, can we test your knowledge? Or perhaps you can tell us some of the words that you know.
Okay, can you tell me if you understand what I'm saying right now?
Yes,
and if I embarrass myself on national TV, I'm blaming this on Wani Watch, okay? Because yesterday, he had to teach this phrase to somebody else for a skit, and I tried to learn it. Okay, what does this mean?
I know that you're talking about me.
Yes, I know, but I was like, that's not the Kriol that I know. What? Oh my God. Can you say that again?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's beautiful.
What else you got?
Nothing, just good morning. What's that again? Biti Binafi.
Yes.
But no, really, learning that phrase yesterday, I was like, this is so cool. I could like surprise people with this. So now I want to like go on. I don't know, I need to find if there's a good resource online. I'm not sure if there's any good resource to like learn more phrases.
Yeah,
I think it would be
there
fun.
are a couple, yes.
Yeah,
There are a couple.
And I like languages because I actually have a degree in French and Spanish. So that's my
nice.
you know.
Nice.
So yeah, I think.
So do you understand Belizean Creole?
Yeah, it's like easy because I've been to so many places in the Caribbean. I've spent so much time in the Caribbean. It's like easy.
Well, we have a challenge for you because every day we have our Creole culture or Creole word of the day or Creole phrase of the day.
Embarrassing if I mess this up after saying it's
And
easy.
so we're going to test your skills. I need you to decode what this means. Our Creole phrase of today is catch and kill. In English, catch and kill. What's the meaning of that when they say, you know, we catch and kill?
I've got no idea, but if I had to guess, is this like a proverb?
Yes.
Could it mean like if we're gonna go for something, we're gonna go for it with all our effort? I don't know. Like if you're gonna go for it, you may as well like go hard. I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, I'm certain it could work if you find a way to insert it in a particular situation. But the meaning of that is actually finding work at any available job. And so if we say, you know, we catch and kill, it means that we don't necessarily have a specific job. We just find work when it comes around.
Okay.
Yeah. But there are many other proverbs, Creole proverbs that we would use.
It's like it's like someone who does odd jobs.
Yeah.
Right? You say in Creole, he catch and kill. In other words, he's doing odd jobs, right?
Yeah. But I'm curious to know how you go about deciding. I mean, of 52 countries, I'm sure not all of them spoke English or Spanish or French. You would have had to drop in at some countries that you didn't know the language. How do you go about preparing for traveling in that way?
I mean, I don't really have time to learn the language before going to every place. So for example, in like Malaysia, it was a bit isolating, to be honest, because I was there for like 3 months. And yeah, I mean, I can't speak Malay, and obviously a lot of people, I was in like villages and stuff, so a lot of them couldn't speak English. So I mean, you can use Google Translate to an extent for the things that you like need. But then when it comes to personal conversation, trying to get to know someone deeper, I mean, there's only so far you can really go with that. So, I mean, you can communicate and you can show pictures and things like that, but to me, it is a bit lonely, to be honest, when you're somewhere where you can't speak the language.
Do you go in with a time period that you plan to travel in a particular country, or do you decide after?
Well, I mean, immigration obviously limits you, and sometimes you need to buy like a return ticket or whatever, but it really varies, to be honest, it just varies.
So how do you know when your time is up and you've gotten everything that you wanted experience-wise from a country?
That's never really the case. It's usually like I just need to leave because maybe it's too expensive, or because immigration, or because there's like a friend I want to meet up with. Because sometimes I meet up with friends, like if a friend has vacation time from work, they might say, oh, I want to go to Panama, do you want to come join me? Like I might go to get that chance to see my friends. So usually I just have to leave because something else is happening.
How much logistics goes into getting a visa, getting all your travel documents together to enter a new country?
I mean, it's not really that so much. It's more just the planning in terms of like, okay, which hostel am I going to stay at, or things like that. And then sometimes because I'm collaborating with others and I'm waiting for their response, but then I need their response now because I need to put this on my form, or you know, it's more just like waiting on others and just seeing, okay, I want to go to this city in like, you know, Gambia or something, but do they have a bus that goes there? And then that country might not really have, you know, good tourism websites about with sections about the buses. Then you might have to watch a million TikToks, read a million TripAdvisor forums or whatever, just to find out, is there a bus? Like, can I get there? Does hitchhiking work in this country? I read like hitchhikers forums. Okay, my flight's going to arrive at 2 a.m, but can I sleep in the airport? So I read like sleeping in airport forums. It's like a lot of reading to see like what I have in my head. Is that going to be feasible, you know?
I have 2 questions for you, Zoe. Name your best experience so far in any of the 52 countries you visited. And can you recall one of the worst ones? Maybe you ended up in a seedy location and you were wondering, why am I still doing this or whatever?
Yeah, probably the best was when I stayed at a farm in the south of Trinidad for 3 months, volunteering in exchange for accommodation and food. And it was this like rural village where people still share a lot of things and it's like a community vibe. And that was quite life-changing. That was in 2016. And then apart from that, well, the worst one, I guess it would just be like things like when I got robbed at gunpoint and when like someone broke into the apartment, you know, those kinds of things. And maybe certain things where like men are really like harassing you and, you know, that kind of vibe. But And I mean, sometimes I just end up staying in a hostel that's like everyone's snoring and it's really like the bathroom's really dirty. And I think, bro, you're 32. Like, how are you not making more money that you don't need to be staying in these hostels? Like, sometimes I just get annoyed that I'm making so much content every day and I don't know, like, it just pays so bad.
Yeah.
So then I just feel like tired, you know, of like repacking this backpack another time for like the third time in the week. And, you know, sometimes I might stay in someone's house and I think, oh, they've got their little pictures on the wall and, you know, I kind of want that too, you know, so I do actually want to like have, you know, my own place and stuff, but I don't know, I think I just need to make a bit more travel content and try and grow a bit more and then maybe figure out how I can, well, because where even, I don't know, like where, and especially with like visa restrictions and things like that, I need to see what's possible and I don't know, but hopefully maybe within like the next year, maybe I'll be a bit more stable. I still want to travel, I think, always, but it would be nice to like have a base in a hot country where I can have my little coconut tree in the garden and stuff, and but then still travel often, but like come back home. Do you get what I mean? Like I'm starting to like, I want to come back home.
Let Belize be your launch pad.
You know, it's possible. I mean,
well, you clearly have visited us 3 times, so it seems like there's some type of love there. I have to ask, how would you compare Belize to other Caribbean countries that you've visited?
So, I mean, I'm not the only person that said this. I mean, after I said this, I realized other people are saying it too, that I think it's so similar to Guyana. It reminds me of Guyana so much. How it has all these like quite small villages with like little colorful houses and not too much going on there, and how a lot of places are quite remote, and how, you know, there's lots of like street vendors and different cultures present, you know, influences from different cultures that you can see in the food and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely would compare it to Guyana. And I think compared to like Trinidad, let's say, it's just so much quieter and less busy, which makes sense because the population here is way smaller, but the landmass is way bigger, right? So naturally it's gonna feel quieter and feel less like Americanized, I guess. I mean, apart from like Placencia and stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think the whole Caribbean shares certain things. For example, like I think the Caribbean is quite like a humorous place in general. Like people like to like laugh and joke in the Caribbean to like just get through the day. Yeah, you know, and like they love to like describe things in a big way. Like, you know, if someone's telling a simple story, like they were late for work. In England, you'll be like, yeah, I was late for work. But then in the Caribbean, it's like, God, you'll never believe this morning I get up and I say to myself, oh my God. Like, you know, like any story in the Caribbean is like some big story, even if it's about nothing. So yeah, that's like a thing it has in common. And, you know, the love for, I suppose, like cooking and food and like family gatherings and, you know, that kind of thing, I feel like is something that's present across all the Caribbean that I've experienced. So yeah, Belize still has has those characteristics, you know.
Well, we are very grateful to have had you on the couch with us, Zoe, learning a bit about your experience traveling the world, and of course here in Belize as well. I know that you are also a vlogger, and so I expected you at some point to pull out.
I was just trying to focus on the interview.
So what would you do, or what did you have planned to do here?
To be honest, I wanted to like balance. So this one's for YouTube, and my phone is for TikTok.
Okay.
YouTube pays more, so I'm trying to do more YouTube at the moment. So I was gonna like balance.
Here's the thing. We're gonna sign out and sign out with. Okay, we got you in the shot, Isani. You're right there, and so you can scoot over more.
Okay.
And we are now wrapping up our second segment, discussion with Zoe Reeve. She is traveling here in Belize, experiencing the culture, and of course sharing with you guys what that journey has been like. At this time now, we want to say thank you for joining us, and we take another quick break, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
Crossed borders in Central America, searching for the stories behind the places we think we know. I'm Sabrina Daly, traveling as a Belizean, curious about the culture, the people, and the experiences that make each destination stand out. From the spirited landscapes of Honduras to the evolving heartbeat of El Salvador.
Go pupusas!
This journey explores what it really feels like to travel our region. This is Across Borders.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Kaliko Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Kaliko Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Kaliko Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
This year reminded us that our work is so much more than communication. It's connection. Every time we supported a school, a youth program, or a community event, we felt the heartbeat of Belize. We met students who just needed someone to believe in them, and families grateful for a supportive hand. We saw communities welcome SMART not just as a brand, but a trusted friend. For us, impact is created through service, presence, and purpose. As we move into a new year, we remain committed to empowering our communities and sharing stories that reflect how SMART strengthens the connections that matter most.
That commitment to people drives how we build our products. We focused on delivering real value and flexibility. We upgraded our postpaid plans to include social media data, keeping you connected to your favorite platforms without the extra cost. For the prepay family, we enhanced prepaid plans to ensure you get more data and benefits from every single recharge. Flex bundles now better match real-time budgets, improving affordability. We introduced affordable Mexico data bundles to keep you connected while traveling. We are listening, adapting, and ensuring you get high-value connectivity you deserve.
Great plans need a great network. Smart strengthened its promise of bringing people together by investing heavily in expansion. We added new towers in key areas, bringing a stronger signal and improved service to more communities. Customers along the coastal road in Blancano, Mountain Pine Ridge, and Cristo Rey now enjoy more consistent coverage, making Smart a reliable companion for every journey. Smart launched its fiber network in Sartineja, bringing reliable high-speed connectivity for today's digital needs.
At Smart, we strive to reflect the energy of Belize in everything we do. From celebrating 20 years of excellent service to exciting collaborations, we've shared unforgettable times. We've delighted you with our biggest giveaways and deals ever, ads you could laugh and connect to, and launched a revamped website to make your digital experience faster and more engaging.
As we look forward to the new year, we remain committed to what matters to you most: the communities we serve, the connections we build, and the precious moments we all share. All these remind us of our true identity and steadfast purpose, bringing people together.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Kaliko Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Kaliko Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
Welcome back, guys. This is our third conversation, and I'm excited about this one. We are joined by Wilford Felix. He's the founder of Sankofa Kriol Cultural Heritage, and we're here to talk about exploring healing through Shanti's Kriol Kolcha Terapi. Yes, and you might want to brace yourselves because we will be switching into some Kriol just to really spice up the conversation this morning. Wilford, it's such a pleasure having you here. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, let's jump into it. I want to, before we get into what healing through the Kriol culture would look like, talk a bit about what your nonprofit is or your organization, Sankofa Kriol Cultural Heritage, and the work that you do.
Well, Sankofa Kriol Cultural Heritage was birthed because we need representation and spaces for heal. Not just Creole people, but the entire Belize, being what post-colonial society. We have to decolonize our narrative, and we do this through embracing our culture, not only our individual or personal culture, but everybody else's culture, so that improves the interaction with each other. And the more you know about somebody else's culture, it helps you to understand that person's perspective.
At what point you realized that you wanted to fully embrace your culture to a point where you would make this be a part of your livelihood? Speaking about decolonization, which I think a lot of times is a mental thing as well, especially since we're probably no longer, having slave masters and having that type of history that we would have grown up talking about, but it's still for a lot of us engraved in our minds, and it's passed on from generation to generation. Yes. But at what point you realized that you wanted to make this a part of your mission to ensure that your culture remains alive?
I came to that realization in 2013.
Okay.
That's when I met Emmett Young, the Creole master drummer, and Miss Myrna Manzanares.
Yes, icons.
Yes, and they are both my mentors. And actually, I've been studying history, Creole, Belizean history, Caribbean history, African history from very early, probably like 7, 8 years old. And I did a workshop through the National Creole Council for bill and drum and learn how to play the drum. And then I had that epiphany after the program was finished, seeing the need that we have to heal, pairing the cultural practice with the historical background that I have. I realized that now I am equipped with all the tools that I need for could set one proper example for my people, especially for the youth.
So how you go about bringing healing to people through the Creole culture, through what you call Creole therapy? You brought your drum with you.
Yes.
Is it music? Is it talk therapy? What type of therapy to take place?
Is for this type of session, it's communal therapy.
Oh.
It's group therapy.
Okay.
And that is natural in the traditional setting or in the cultural setting. So we find, or I've found that
in a traditional African setting per se, much of the mental disorders that we experience in this Western civilization not exist because of the people embracing their culture and their heritage and living it every day.
That's such an interesting concept because I will admit, a sort of a different view. And of course, I think there's space for every perspective. I always thought that these types of challenges that we might be speaking of now, perhaps it existed, but the people just never have a term for call it back then. You know, maybe your great grandpa or your great great granny did suffer with anxiety, but she never know that meant that. She call it you worry too much.
Yes.
So what would you say to that then?
Well, your great grandpa or your great granny is still within the post-colonial era. Still come after the traumas of enslavement and colonization. So that is what we saw in our grandparents.
Yeah.
But before that, what was there? Think about the Maya people. The Europeans brought diseases that these civilizations never had among them. Why? Because the consciousness was different. And the emergence of the colonizers in this region began to strip away the native culture and heritage. I like quotes, right?
Yeah.
And many years ago, I learned a quote that said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its entire life thinking it's stupid. So when you take what indigenous person out of their culture and out of what is natural and native to them, they become an aberration. They begin to dysfunction. For example, you can't use a piece of styrofoam for sharpening a machete.
Yeah.
Because that's not how that product is applied.
So you found a way to incorporate perhaps holistic therapy to the work that you do in promoting the Creole culture.
Yes.
You've collaborated with Shanti in providing a space, them providing a space to you for this type of therapy to take place.
Yes.
Tell me about what a person might experience if he or her would decide to go and experience therapy, but Creole culture therapy.
Before I answer that, I want to say that what I'm doing is the work of Miss Berna.
Okay.
Because in addition to her being one Creole cultural advocate, she's also a very astute counselor.
Okay.
And it is from her that I learned the strategy to counsel without you knowing that you're being counseled. And that is intrinsic within Creole culture. So the very setting of a Bram, the very setting of Sambai is therapy. So earlier I mentioned that some of the mental and psychological disorders we experience in these Western civilizations not exist in the native or traditional setting because of how therapy or healing is interwoven in the cultural practices.
Yes.
So coming out to one of these sessions, I know that you'll get counseled. I know that you're in a healing session. Why? Because that happens innately in the practice of the culture. So you want to come out and sing, you want to come out and dance, you want to come out and bram, right?
Yeah.
Movement is an essential part of physical and mental well-being. This is why when you feel down or you feel depressed, people will tell you, get up and do something, clean the house, go out for a walk, go take a jog.
Yeah.
Because movement is important.
I love that you said that, Mr. Felix, because I remember stumbling across different types of contents, and I too like to try to understand as deeply as possible the connection with mental health and how it could affect an individual, but also ways that you could go about exploring healing, whether it's through the conventional, medicine or more holistic approaches as well. And I remember learning a bit about different places in your body where trauma could be stored and how you could go about releasing that through movement. for a lot of people, that looks like dancing. And so
Yes.
in your hips, in your waist, all of that
The hips.
is where trauma is stored.
Correct.
And forgive me, I'm no dancer. You guys would have seen me attempt many times before. And so I wonder, is it true that you can release trauma stored within you through different movements, especially in your hips? Have you
Yes.
observed that?
Yes. And this is particularly why sambai is important.
Okay.
Because most of the movement of in a sambai, especially for women, is in the hips.
Mhm.
We store negative emotions in the hips.
And this is like age-old information as well.
And this also ties in to the conceptualization of yoga.
Ah, yes, and that's where that connection also takes place.
Correct.
And so really, I came into the conversation thinking that you would be counseling me in Creole language or in Creole dialect to say, no, Sabrina, tell me what is on your mind this morning.
No,
but
it's
it's
not
much
one of
more
those
than
kind of
that.
sessions. It's not one of those sit-down sessions where you lay down on the couch and then the counselor cross the leg and take out a notepad and
And
say,
how that may make you
tell
feel.
me where it all started.
Yeah.
Right? It's
So-
not one of those sessions. It's an organic cultural experience.
Yeah.
See, we have to come back to being our natural selves. We have to come back to embracing our identity, especially in this time of globalization.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, if your cup empty, then anybody could fill it
Yeah.
with anything. But if your cup full with who and what you are, then who could control you? How can you be a slave?
Yeah.
In this process of colonization that we've gone through, our heritage had to be stripped away.
Yeah.
So coming back to the heritage now and using it to heal the post-colonial trauma that are passed on from generation to generation is so important.
There's so many ways that you could take the conversation when you think of the connection with our cultural heritage and the things that would have been used for various things other than just expression, especially when we think of dancing and storing trauma in your hips and releasing that.
Yes.
When you think of colonization and the new world that we now live in, a lot of people sexualize those movements and they look at it in a different way where it was once recognized and received as a part of healing, as a part of expression, as a part of connecting with, the divine, And so how do you go about encouraging people that this is an experience that is connected to a time way before they were here, and to just silence a lot of what they would have perhaps seen, the new information that is out there? And I say that specifically with dancing, for example. I'm very conventional. It's not conventional. I'm very conservative. And so for me, sometimes I feel like I can't do any movement that of Mr. Felix,
Yeah.
How do you go about encouraging a person to just experience what is there, leave it in the space, in the room with you, and perhaps experience a level of healing?
I would encourage everyone to come as you are. Don't try to be other than yourself. You don't have to move how I move,
I might can't.
but move.
Yeah.
And the space is a safe space. There's no criticism, there's no ridicule, there's encouragement and upliftment. And that's the cultural space. This is why traditional Creole games and traditional African games or ceremonies are done in a circle, because there's no extruding point in a circle. The circle is the symbol of equality. Not just equality, but freedom, justice, and equality.
Yeah.
And so that is what Creole Culture Therapy represents.
Beautifully said. We are now completely out of time, Mr. Felix, but I want to give you 10 seconds. Give me a beat for carry to the break. And when we come back, I'll quickly say this. We are going to be stepping into the spotlight with some of the recent activities coming up with the Belikin calendar and, of course, Belikin music. And speaking of music, can you give us a drone out as we leave?
enhanced service, and faster sickness benefit claim processing are at your fingertips with SSB's healthcare feature accessible via the My Social Security self-service portal. Your convenience during illness is key. Now your doctor can certify your period of illness, and your employer can confirm your employment details digitally, eliminating the need to visit our office. But wait, it gets better. You can also review the medical certificate provided by your doctor in your My Social Security account, along with real-time processing updates, keeping you informed. To ensure a smooth process, always review your electronic medical certificate before you hit submit. Upon submission, your employer is notified via email of your claim submitted to SSB and must respond within 48 hours for your claim to be automatically processed. For more information, check out our guides on our website and YouTube pages. Social Security at your fingertips.
I crossed borders in Central America, searching for the stories behind the places we think we know. I'm Sabrina Daly, traveling as a Belizean, curious about the culture, the people, and the experiences that make each destination stand out. From the spirited landscapes of Honduras to the evolving heartbeat of El Salvador.
Go pupusas!
This journey explores what it really feels like to travel our region. This is Across Borders.
All right. On the one fun day on, the window open and the light may turn off. You look like you listen to me, Jamie.
Not only that, I even get a new coffee mug where keep my coffee hot all day.
I'm impressed. You don't look like you're so hard, yes?
Better than that, BL can change my meter to one of their new smart meter, they call it the AMI.
Oh, I hear about it on TV for BL ad, you know.
Yes, man, it don't reach the money better to change it right now. Let's go check it out.
Hey guys, I'm almost done here.
So now when you are reach my area?
We're upgrading meters across Belize, house by house, business by business. Always look out for BL logo, uniforms, and IDs. BL will make you know when we're in the area. The EMI meter rollout is a part of BL strategy to modernize our energy services.
Well, you don't need to come in at my house, right?
Come in at your house, boss, only if you got something good for you.
BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Welcome back. This is our final conversation, and we are highlighting a range of different activities and things you can look forward to coming from Belikin. They have their upcoming song competition. They also have, I heard, the calendar auditions currently taking place. And so this is an opportunity to get some of the scoop on what's the latest going on that side. We have here with us Martin Guy. He's the brand coordinator at Bowen & Bowen for Belikin. We also have here with us Corey Leslie, creative developer of Belikin as well. Gentlemen, welcome back and
thank you.
Happy New Year. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, it's a pleasure.
Exciting to be here.
Now let's jump into the song competition first, because I know that that's a big highlight every year that people look forward to. I remember it was about 2 years ago. We were chilling with you guys at the brewery. Highlighting some of the artists that would have been featured that year. And I know that this is a big deal, not only for musicians here in Belize, but for people who really appreciate music as well. Talk about the importance of this initiative and, of course, the purpose behind it.
Okay. Yeah, so the song competition was something, as you mentioned, it started in 2024, right? And it's a part of our Giving Back Through Music campaign. So the Giving Back Through Music campaign, it's right there in its name. It was designed to foster, uplift that community and that industry, right? It sparks novelties in Belizean artists, giving them a platform to do something. And then the ultimate goal is, and you can see it through several initiatives that we do. For one, Belikin Bash gives back to the community through the music, and it also does something through the song competition. It gives back to the people who make music, right? So music is something that's appreciated by Belizeans. It's a way to authentically express ourselves as the artists. It's a way to authentically express ourselves through the music we listen to as well, and the music that resonates with us. So the song competition, it's a way to get people to explore or identify, or giving these new artists like a platform to do something. So that's the ultimate goal of the song competitions.
For me, I think it allowed me to see some new talent as well.
Exactly.
When we sat down with you guys, I believe it was in 2024, was it?
Yes.
I saw some new artists that I never knew of, and they were amazing too. And so really giving them an opportunity to get further exposure, I think, was a pretty big deal and a key point out of that discussion as well. But the rules, there are rules to this. It is a competition after all. So how do you go about scoping out these new talents, and how do they get involved?
Sure. So we have our email, our official email, creative@skz.bz, where we're accepting submissions. But honestly, it's not too strict of a guideline. We want to see something authentic. As Martin emphasized, we want to see something Belizean. We would like for it to be no longer than 3 minutes, just so that we could have the bandwidth to listen to all submissions. And also, obviously, no profanity, nothing too vulgar. We know we like really spicy in our music, right? But we want to keep it clean, keep it something that we can promote, because the ultimate goal, like Martin said, is to promote. It's to feature new artists. It's to have something that can be played on the radio without, anything offensive. Right. So that's definitely the outcome we're hoping for. With the song competition, originally we got some amazing submissions. We had a song that was full reggaeton, if I'm not mistaken, right, Martin? So language isn't a limitation. We absolutely encourage anyone in their language if they can promote something. People also ask, like, it have to be a Belikin song? The answer is no, it don't have to be a Belikin song.
We saw some love songs too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think 2 of the 4 winners last time had love songs, which was really cool. And we find ways to incorporate Belikin's heritage brand identity into your music, but that doesn't mean you have to adapt Belikin's identity, and we don't want that by any means. So it's very simple. 3-minute song. Try to keep it as authentic as you can. Try to have fun with it. If you can be creative with the genre, it doesn't have to be specific to only maybe soca or only brown.
We welcome that. If you want.
Be creative, and this is an opportunity to have that song go fully legitimate by having it professionally mastered, giving you, and these are some of the prizes I'm getting into. Sorry, I might have jumped the gun with the questions, but it will be fully mastered in our studio. We give the artist professional headshots, professional grade music video shoot, potentially at the home of Belikin, which is the brewery. So this is honestly an opportunity to turn what could be just an idea into a full-fledged part of your portfolio as an upcoming artist in Belize.
What's the buying like from young people? Because I look at music as something that young people galvanize around, but sometimes they're afraid to really come out and express themselves through this form. What's the buy-in?
Our experience, both Martin and mine, has been, because we work with a lot of DJs, especially for our events, we've been hearing, I think for like a year now, there's no new artists. There's no one out there. No one's putting music out. No one's coming forward. And even sometimes there are polls online, Facebook, where they're like, we want to see something new. We see the same people headlining these events. Belize Galatatan, what are going on? And then in the comments, you see people tagging different names, and the comments go crazy whenever something polarizing like that gets said, right? So we figure, the Belikin team figures that maybe it's not a lack of artists, just a lack of opportunity. So the song competition is perfectly woven into that kind of opportunity in a market where, okay, We say we don't have artists. Let's put something forward where they can get all the resources they need to make something big and see what we get. And I'm very confident we'll be getting a lot of submissions before February 28th, which is the deadline.
I think a big deal about the song competition is also the opportunity to perform it as well at the Belikin Bash. Can you guys highlight a bit more about what those experiences are like for the artists?
Sure.
So in the first one in 2024, that was like the major headline. Won a chance to perform at Belikin Bash. You know, so every year Belikin Bash, you know, there's limited slots, and we try to make room for as many artists as possible, right? And there's always the new artists coming out and be like, when can I get a shot to perform at Belikin Bash? When can I get a shot to perform at Belikin Bash? And this is the opportunity, right? So if you're a finalist in this competition, you're guaranteed a spot at Belikin Bash. And you know, it puts you on one of arguably the largest stage for Belizean music in the country, and I think it's the perfect opportunity. So this is all about giving the artists the platform. Yes, we're producing the music, but we're also giving them an audience and giving people music to listen to. So we're putting them out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we did promise to also quickly highlight some of the other activities that you guys currently have going on. I know I've been seeing some beautiful photos of the 2025 launch of the Belikin calendar, or is it 2026? 2026. 2025, 2026.
Yes.
And then, of course, there are auditions already announced for this year going into next year.
Yes. So
what are the criterias for that? You know,
this
just
Saturday,
in case I could go be a Belikin.
We welcome you. We welcome everyone who is of drinking age, because that's basically the only criteria. You must be 18 years or older, because we wouldn't want you promoting alcohol if you're underage. But yeah, that's the guidelines. That's it. Be a woman of Belize and be 18 years old or older. And we're having it at Map Street, our Map Street office, Sakizmi, number 2 Map Street, this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. All that we ask is that potential models bring a bathing suit to change in. They will go through filling out their application form, a very brief photo shoot in their bathing suit, and then that's about it. And then we contact those who were selected. So we welcome anyone. This is something, and I think I have a pull teams off and make people show up. People are always asking how they could get on the calendar, and we love that. We welcome it. So like I said, just
is the selection process rigorous?
I would say it's pretty rigorous, just because we even get virtual submissions for those who aren't in country at the time of auditions, and people have already started emailing in headshots, bikini photos. Some of them attach their Instagram profiles, because that's like a portfolio now for those young influencers who take it very seriously. Their grid, they take their grid very serious. They don't play about that, so they will send their link and they feel like that's all that needs to be said, which we support that as well. So yeah, it opens officially. Auditions open on the 17th, but if you aren't here, we still welcome you to send in your submissions virtually. We view all of them. There's a panel of 4 to 5 people from the Belikin team who have an ultimate say who gets selected, but we also have another portfolio of those who may be selected for future calendars as well, because we can only accept 12, unfortunately. But it's not a wasted effort if you're not selected in the first go around. People have come back for other auditions and gotten in the calendar. So we welcome it. We're excited to see what we get this year.
All right, well, good stuff. Before we take a quick break, let's once more remind our viewers of the song competition deadlines and what they need to submit to be able to potentially be shortlisted.
Yes, so the deadline for the song competition is February 28th. We will be selecting 3 finalists. It does not have to be a fully professionally mastered song, although we would like to have some audio with it, but you can submit a cappella if that's the best you can come up with at the time, because we know some people have limited resources. But send that to creative@skz.bz before Feb 28th, and we'll be getting back to everyone who has submitted something to us.
Excellent. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. It's been wonderful, and we wish you guys all the best.
Always a good time. Thank you.
All right, we take our final break, and don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to wrap things up.
unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
I crossed borders in Central America, searching for the stories behind the places we think we know. I'm Sabrina Daly, traveling as a Belizean, curious about the culture, the people, and the experiences that make each destination stand out. From the spirited landscapes of Honduras to the evolving heartbeat of El Salvador. This journey explores what it really feels like to travel our region. This is Across Borders.
Welcome back and thank you for sticking with us. We are wrapping things up and it's been a wonderful morning with all of our guests and also you guys for tuning in with us. It is January 13th. If you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@greaterbelize.com. You can also catch us on Facebook, that's Open Your Eyes BZ, as well as Instagram for behind the scenes contents. That's OIE Belize. You can even call us or text us on our OIE phone number. That's 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes
To start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
And your heart's open.
have a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.